We may be on a break between seasons, but that won't stop us from popping in with a quick bonus episode. Today, we're taking you to the streets of Disney as we recap our experience at the 2024 Walt Disney World Marathon Weekend.
3, 2, 1, go!
Hey race fans, it's Katie. We just had the most magical run weekend and wanted to share our experience with you.
Hey y'all, it's Marissa. Katie, Steven, and I put in some miles this weekend, but not exactly the miles that we expected.
Well, before we get into that, we wanted to send a huge congratulations to all of the runners this weekend, no matter the distance. We know you all crushed it.
Woo! Yeah.
Jenny here. Sadly, I didn't get a chance to run this year, but I can't wait to hear all about it.
Woo, you're in for it.
It was.
That's what I hear.
It was an experience.
It was. It was. I mean, I think we're all sad that the weekend is over.
Yes.
But we're also tired.
I'm not tired. I'm sad. I miss you guys. I just want you to come back to town. But I don't know. I feel kind of like it just went by too fast. I'm not tired. I'm just, where did it go?
It did. It just had so many highs and lows. It was like a rock and roller coaster of emotions.
All right, so let's start off with how was the expo? Tell me about that.
I love the expo.
The expo gets me so hyped up. I went with Marissa this year and my boyfriend who was doing the 10K. And so we got there kind of right as they opened.
We literally got there as they were opening that day.
Yeah, on Thursday. And there's pretty much nobody there at that point. We didn't wait in any lines. We got right to our bibs. We even did something crazy and tried to ask to see if we could switch Jack into the half marathon, which was an immediate no, as we expected.
But you know what? Jack was happy about that. So good for Jack.
Jack was actually happy. He did not want to do the half, but I was just hoping he would.
I didn't want to either. I didn't.
And I will say, they really stepped it up with the characters this year. It seemed like every day they were rotating at least one group of characters. So, when we were there, we met Mickey and Minnie, and Chip and Dale were there. But I believe the next day, it was still Mickey and Minnie, but Daisy and Donald probably for the half marathon. Oh, yeah, Katie, that's the day that you went.
Mm-hmm. I didn't get a picture with them, but they were so cute. And Daisy was really dancing hard to Lady Gaga, hard. And I was here for it. And they were so cute, and they're dressed in their little best outfits. They looked so good.
Yeah, they were kind of like vintage throwback outfits. I'd never seen them before.
They were really cute.
And then as far as merchandise, I am a Run Disney merch queen. And I will say that everything that I had wanted for the half marathon specifically was still available, and I was able to purchase.
By the time I made it, so I went on Friday to the expo, so one of the last days, and by the time I got there, all of the half marathon merchandise was completely gone. They only had triple XLs, so there wasn't anything that I could get. I did get a really cute pass holder Spirit jersey because they did still have that, but as far as the sizes, they were very, very limited by the time that I made it there, which is to be expected.
Yeah.
But I love it. We also got to take advantage. When I went with two of my other friends, we took full advantage of the compression.
The leg compression.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. That's my favorite thing to do before a race.
Lay back in that chair and close your eyes and dream of the finish line.
Yes. And it's so you just, even though there's a million people in the room, it feels like no one's there and you're just in Zen mode. And I'm just I almost fell asleep. I'll be honest. I almost fell asleep. That makes it worth running.
Yeah. Well, let's get into the races. The three of us were registered for the half. I have to say registered. I can't say we ran the half, but we registered for the half.
For yourself.
Well, true. Well, and we did have other friends who were running different distances. And so the 5K and the 10K, they had some unusual character options. Marissa, Marissa had the list. She was live updating us as people were running by the characters each morning.
Yeah, so I found a Run Disney Discord page, and if you're listening and you're into Run Disney, I highly recommend joining. It's great information. So I was literally checking the Discord even on the 5K and 10K days that I was not running, just because I wanted to see who the characters were. So at the start line for the 5K, they had Pluto, Oswald and Clara, Dopey, Clarice, and the Ugly Duckling.
And the ugly duckling was adorable.
I was going to
saw
ask Jenny
many
if you saw
pictures.
pictures of it.
Oh,
Wait,
He
I
was
didn't
the
even
cutest
see
I don't
little
think I've
thing.
ever seen the ugly duckling.
We
I
hadn't
haven't.
either. It's,
You need to look it up.
Oh.
It's the cutest thing I ever saw, and
Aw.
I'm sad that I did not get a picture with him.
Is that on the Run Disney? I gotta find this.
Probably.
This is an emergency.
He is precious. He may give Maple, our mascot, a run for her
What about
money.
her?
No, check out episode 19 if you want to hear more about Maple.
Just give us a
Little
plug.
shameless plug. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing we discovered, I don't think we really knew until the first day of the weekend, was that Run Disney kind of did this different eras thing for each race. So the first,
They must have been inspired by Taylor Swift's Eras Tour.
I was about to say, why not?
Hmm.
Run Disney Eras Tour.
So the 5K we said was what, like the 30s and 40s, and then the 10K was 50s, 60s, and I know we were the 70s to 99
Mm-hmm.
for the half marathon.
Who else was at the 10K?
It was Pinocchio, the hippo from Fantasia, Alice and Mad Hatter, Thumper, Cinderella and some mice, Aurora and her fairies, Wendy and Peter Pan, Bert and Mary and the penguin, and Jose.
I love Thumper. I wish I got to meet him.
Well, Jack stopped for every character along the course,
True.
so we've got a
Aw.
picture of all of them.
Literally.
And he had to ask them to do very specific poses with him each time.
Mhm.
He made sure that Sleeping Beauty did like they were asleep, Peter Pan they were flying. He really had it all planned out.
Mm-hmm.
That's cute.
So we were there cheering on the 10K for Jack and our other friend Sarah.
And Michelle,
Yes.
who ran with me in the half marathon,
And
and Frank.
Frank. Can't forget Frank.
Frank
But
did
Frank
dopey.
did Dopey, so I forget he was there because he just runs them all.
He's just crazy. He's just dopey.
He is quite dopey. I have in our notes for the day, cold AF.
It was cold. It was so cold.
It was.
It was like
Ugh.
low 50s, maybe high 40s, and we left the hotel around 5:30 to go cheer, and we could see our breath. It was not Florida weather at all. And I was like, I'm glad I'm not running. But then again, if I were running, maybe I would be a little warmer.
This weekend's always like hit or miss for the weather. I feel like you just never know what you're going to get. I've run it before and it's been insanely cold. And then other times, I think like the last time we did it, it was like warm or okay.
Mhm.
Like I feel like you never know. And this would not be the first time that we had the race modified or canceled due to weather for this
Yep.
weekend. So,
Jenny
Jenny
you were
was
here
there for that one.
I was there
Yeah.
for that one. Yes.
I think it's me because I've only ever
I
signed
think
up for
it's
this
you.
half marathon twice. It was 2017 and then this year. So I've never successfully done a Walt Disney World marathon,
Yep.
half marathon.
It's you.
I
Next
have
time, stay
successfully
home.
pulled off 3 marathons, but not the half.
Yeah. I feel like you never know what you're going to get with this weekend weather wise. So, but yeah, the 10K, people who ran the 10K, I commend you because that was a cold one. As a spectator, that was cold.
Well, this brings us to
Dun, dun, dun.
half marathon or whatever you want to call it now, because
Slightly more than a 10K.
The half marathon.
I will say though, I wasn't super prepared for this one, so I'm not bummed that it was only 7.1 miles instead of 13.1. And for those of you who aren't aware, the half marathon portion of the weekend didn't quite make it to half marathon status. We found out sadly the night before the race that it was going to be a modified course due to weather. And
Womp
so,
womp.
yeah, that was a fun Olive Garden
Yeah, I was going to say,
meal.
Katie and I were at Olive Garden just getting ready to carbo load and eat all the breadsticks. And then one of our friends came over with her phone and let us know what had happened. And sadly, a few minutes later, I was basically crying over my bowl of pasta fajoule and my salad because
We still carbo load, regardless of
we
whether we
continue
needed to or
to
not.
eat. We ate our feelings. For
Mhm.
those of you who are not aware, although you might have heard on previous episodes, this was my very first half marathon that I ever had the courage to register for. I have been training for the last 6 months, and I could not wait to run past Cinderella's castle and finish that 13.1 miles. And I did.
She
But
did.
did I run past the castle that day? Not that day, I
Yes.
didn't.
No, but
I
another
was gonna
day
say,
she
did I run
did.
past the castle? I did.
Mm.
Was it during the half marathon? It sure was not.
And then she was
Uh.
promptly kicked out of the park after she did it.
I noticed on all of the posts on Instagram from Run Disney, they never acknowledged a distance. They didn't call it a half marathon. It was just kind of completely avoided in all the captioning and anything they posted throughout the rest of the weekend. So I don't know what to call it. I have a shirt that says I ran 13.1 miles, but it happened. So my strategy here was I'm not going to run this competitively in any way. I feel like if I'm not doing a half, that to me I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I wanted to meet characters because I've never stopped for a character at a Disney run because I'm always trying to like beat a time or something. So this time, our friend Michelle ran with me. We stopped for every character along the way until it started raining, and they took the characters in. So we did not successfully meet every character, but we did meet as many as we could. We got about halfway before the rain set in. So it was a fun little adventure. Probably something I'll never experience again, but we definitely had a lot of fun running around and meeting the most random people. Merlin,
Yeah, that was very
Robin
random.
Hood was out there.
They had a lot of good characters. I wish I had stopped and had done more. I thought maybe I would. I'd also never stopped for characters in a race before. So I was like, maybe I'll do it. But then I was really feeling my time when I was moving.
You
and
were
so then I
killing it.
decided
We were watching
to keep
you
going.
on the
Yeah.
tracker, and we were like, "Whoop, she's almost done," and we're at character number 2.
Yes, but I am glad that I did that because then I actually got to finish the modified 7.1 part of the race. But I did stop for one character. I stopped for Launchpad, and I'm glad that I did that because I really, really wanted to meet Mickey at the end of the race. And I was like, oh, should I keep going and just make it towards Mickey? But I decided not to, and I'm glad I didn't because they had pulled Mickey before I even gotten close to it. And so it would have been really sad if I didn't get to meet any characters during this race because I wanted at least one. But it was kind of sad to run by Mickey's little spot and all I saw was his palm trees. And I was like, wait, was that him?
We just ran by a bunch of like hedges.
Yeah, I had no idea
had
who was supposed to be
backdrops
there.
with them.
Well,
I
like when
only knew it was Mickey because Marissa was giving us the updates throughout the
Oh.
race. So she
That's
was
right.
getting it
More
from the
live
Discord.
tweeting, more
Yeah.
character live tweeting from the Discord queen
Breaking
over here.
news.
Well, and I ran past, I guess, where Mac's power line was, and I just hear the music, and I'm
Yes.
like, oh, this is where he was.
Yeah.
Well, it's okay because when we ran to Max, we got in line for him and they sent us away because it started raining while we were in line for Max. And he was one of the ones that I wanted the most, but
Aww.
it's okay. I got Mushu.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good pick.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll say the two characters, they were together who I got to meet, and I've never met them before, and I was super excited when they popped up on the Discord, was Meg and Hercules. And it was quite an experience. I loved it. I don't really want to say much negative about this race because I finally got to meet Mr. Beefcake himself, as we like to say.
Oh, I thought that was me. You met me 15 years ago, Marissa. I guess you meant Hercules. Well, I feel
Anyway.
like we could talk about characters for the next hour and a half, but Marissa, I think it's time to tell what happened.
Okay.
What happened?
Oh.
Well, I mean, what didn't happen? Well, I'll tell from my perspective at least. So, as I said, this was my first half marathon and I was really bummed and just tried to keep going with the flow. And I did have a really good time. I would say the first half of the race until about mile 4.5, actually. I will give Run Disney major credit that they really did try to do the best they could with circumstances. They, kind of smushed all these character spots into the 7.1 miles. So I felt like literally every half a mile there was something to look at, whether it was entertainment, it was a character. There were so many volunteers, so many cast members cheering you on that even when things got a little hairy, that I'll discuss in a moment, they were there cheering and just making you feel great. It actually brought me to tears at one point. Also, the fact that I was running in the rain might have brought me to tears as well, but who knows?
Was it a tear or a raindrop?
Not sure.
I will say also, most of the race or most of the course was on road and highway, not actually in the park because of how it had to be modified. So the fact that they did have these characters every half a mile really did make a difference, because I think that was for us like one of the biggest bummer points when we first found out that the course was being modified, was that it was moving to basically being a road course. But I think they did a nice job, and it felt like even though we weren't in the parks, it still felt very Disney focused and very much so like it was exciting and fun, and there was always something happening around you. So it felt good, even though it was a shorter race and it wasn't necessarily all in the parks.
However, not all of us even got to experience that course. Marissa here got to experience the modified course because, like I said, I did stop for Hercules and Meg. They did have a pretty long line. And basically, within minutes of me running out of that area, it started to downpour. And by the time I got into Epcot, I stopped really quickly just to use the restroom. And when I came back out, they were turning the course back towards the parking lot. And I knew immediately that the course had gotten cut again. And I did find out later that apparently there was lightning detected within 5 miles of the park. So for safety, they wanted everyone off the course, which I understand. But the one thing I had going for me that day was, well, I get to run through World Showcase and I'll get to run past Cosmic Rewind. That'll be fun. That's different. And then I did not.
I don't want to rub it into Marissa, but I will say running through World Showcase was my favorite part of this race, because I have done a few different Run Disney ones that have gone through it, and it's always very nice, but it's usually when it's light out. This was the first time I've ever gotten to run when it was still dark out through there, and the holiday lights were still up, so everything was like nicely lit, and I saw like a bunch of people just taking photos off to the side in the middle of the race. And it was just like a very lovely experience, and just something I don't think I would have the opportunity to probably run through again, because I think I'm retiring after this one. But I will say that was definitely my favorite part. And I was sad that you missed it, because they did a really nice job. And it was very cool to experience that in a different light. No pun intended.
Yeah. Well, we all made it to the finish line.
Yay!
In the rain.
And chaos ensued.
Chaos.
Oh
I mean,
You
we
should have
couldn't
seen the
find
text
each
chat.
other. We couldn't find our friends who were spectating. I just texted the group at one point and I said, everybody just go to the hotel. I'll see you there. Katie's already back at the hotel. She's texting us. She's lost. She's gotten off at the wrong bus stop. She's probably at the wrong hotel, honestly.
I didn't even know how I got there.
I can't find Marissa. I'm texting people, and then I'm texting other people, and they're like, Marissa's with us. And I was like, how did she get with you? I don't know. I'm on the bus eating my chips and cheese dip. Not a care in the world.
Cheese dip. I didn't even get it because I was so distracted by the rain. I just went right by the snack boxes.
That was one thing I will complain about. So they were trying to get everybody out of there so quickly, because obviously it was raining, but I didn't even get a medal. I had to run back to the finish line to get a medal because no one gave one to me. And I looked around, everyone was wearing one, and I was like, what?
This is the first time I've ever received a medal that was wrapped up in plastic packaging.
True.
That's
True.
the first.
True. That might have been why I missed it.
I don't know if that was to protect it from the rain or just to hurry and get us out of there.
I think
that
it was a little bit
first.
of both. Yeah, Jenny, it was chaos.
It sounds like it.
I also love that this is the first year. I mean, I have a medal from so many Disney races. The first time I've ever seen them put in giant lettering on the front, 13.1.
Oh my gosh.
Instead of it
No.
saying like half marathon or like
Yep.
characters, it's giant 13.1. So I think they jinxed it with that.
It's a really cute medal. It's probably one of my favorite ones too that I've ever gotten from a Run Disney race. So it makes me extra sad.
I know.
Aw.
I have another Donald medal around here somewhere that was for a race that never even made it off 1 mile. So
I
I'm
still
gonna have a little
that.
collection
one
of
too.
these.
Yeah. Y'all have that
I actually
one.
really liked that medal too. Oh,
Yeah, that was a good one. We all
Didn't
have
you
that.
get a luggage
I didn't
tag
like that
too?
one. Yes, I
Oh,
still
yeah,
use
we
that
did.
luggage
That's
tag.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Do y'all still have your shirt?
Of course.
Somewhere.
It's
Of
I
course.
have so
mine's
many
somewhere
of these
around here,
shirts.
too.
Actually, I need to say, one of our friends packed that shirt and brought it to the hotel. So I will say that maybe she is the reason
Wow.
that this
Oh,
happened.
she brought
And
some
then
bad luck.
she wore it to the race that day. Cheer us on.
I saw a post on Facebook of a guy who has only signed up for these 2 races ever at Disney at 2017 when it got canceled, and then this one for this year, and he
Oh, it's his
somehow
fault.
got the exact same bib number just by like freak
Weird.
Oh my God.
That's
coincidence.
Definitely
And it was
his
the
fault.
2 that were ruined, and so he was like, I'm not doing this again. I'm like, I think it's
Oh
me.
my
I'm sorry to
gosh.
everybody.
Yeah, I will say, I
Mhm.
mean, this whole experience kind of stinks, but we've all, at least in this group, we've all done many, many, many Run Disney races. So I am
That's right.
lucky that, for the most part,
Well,
things have
that's,
gone off.
that's how at first, when I found out y'all were at Olive Garden, I was standing out front of Dinosaur waiting on my lightning lane. I was already frustrated because I've been out there for 20 minutes just waiting because it was so late. And then I just wanted to jump into that fountain with the dinosaur in there. But I think that's when I decided I'm just going to have fun with this. Like, it's not that serious. We're just out here to have fun. We signed up for this to have fun. And I'm going to have fun with my friends. So my friend and I, we met all the characters and just made it silly.
Yeah.
But we can't forget about the marathon too. Obviously, that was the highlight and actual name of the weekend. So congratulations to all the marathon runners. I know that they did experience some rain, but I think overall, for the most part, the temperature and the rest of the weather was okay. I know some people were pretty soaked from the downpour.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that the temperature seemed nice that day. I hope that most people were able to get through the rain towards the end of their run, but it does seem from some social media posts that some people were not as lucky and were running in rain for quite some time and then had to go another 10 miles or so to finish. And kudos to them for making it through wet clothes, cold, wet socks.
And they also got the most random characters, not to go back to characters, but that was a weird little bundle of Disney Junior out there. I don't know. I didn't even know who Nancy Fancy was, but she was out there doing her thing.
Fancy Nancy.
Oh, Fancy Nancy.
Fancy
not
Nancy.
Exactly. Well,
Y'all are not teachers, and it shows.
oh.
Correct. We are not.
Well, any final thoughts on the race weekend?
I had a good time. It was a fun weekend with friends. I felt like it was, even though the race was cut short, it was like a good quintessential, like proper Run Disney weekend. Like, it felt like a lot of fun. The expo was great. Parks were great. Friend time was great. Overall,
Marathon
great.
weekend is always my favorite weekend.
It's a good one.
Also, we had a great stay at the Port Orleans Riverside. I hadn't been there in many years.
I
It
love
is
that
just
resort.
a delightful resort. But it was just a really great experience all around, aside from a few miles of setbacks. But
Yeah, I just like to put out there that I'm stubborn and I could not rest at 7.1 miles. And I went home and ran the rest on my treadmill with my dog watching me, watching the Barbie movie, because we all know I love Barbie. So I did my half marathon that day.
We are proud of you for that, because this was your first half and you needed to go out and earn that medal.
Thank you so much. And then I wore it the next day proudly, and I didn't even laugh at myself.
Well, we'll try again next year.
No.
We'll see.
2025.
Katie, you have to do it.
Katie is not
I'm
doing the
going to do it
half.
this time.
Katie's
I'm-
doing the full.
I'm retiring. I mean, I'll do a nice leisurely stroll for the full. I'll finish in 12 hours.
You also said you were doing a nice leisurely stroll for the half, and you ended up speeding down the road.
I'm competitive and I don't like to not.
The lightning they picked up
it.
that was Katie. That's why your course got cut, because she was
Thanks.
too fast.
Mhm.
Well, of course, we couldn't even put out a bonus episode without a little project planning of our own. So I asked everyone to come up with a new race theme for a Run Disney weekend. And I'll give you mine first. So they'd probably never do this. I don't even know how you would really sell this, but if you did a half marathon weekend and it was divided into 3 races, and it was the Disney resorts. So the half marathon is deluxe resorts, the 10K is moderate resorts, and the 5K is the value resorts. And so I even kind of like mapped out the courses and like looked at the distances. So you could start in Animal Kingdom and run through all 3 All-Stars and have a 5K. You could run from the Epcot parking lot to around Port Orleans down to Caribbean Beach Resort and back to Epcot, and that would be 6.2. And you could do starting at the Boardwalk Yacht Club and Beach Club. You could start there, run around there, and run up and around the Magic Kingdom Lagoon through Contemporary, Polynesian, and Grand Floridian to do your deluxe half marathon.
That would be fun.
Oh my gosh,
I would
that's
love to do
awesome.
something like
Yeah,
that.
that's super creative.
I know.
So I thought there were 3 different categories of resorts. So why not give each one its own little thing where you can actually run through the resorts and experience their grounds while you're running.
I actually love that. And I'm sad that that's not actually anything they've ever thought of, because I feel like I love anything at the resorts.
Yeah. I feel like the medals would be so cute too. You could have like a big star for the All-Star one. You could have kind of a Caribbean meets Port Orleans, like either side of the medal has one to the other, and then some character running in between them, Tiana. And then the deluxe resorts, you could do like the Magic Kingdom and the Epcot resorts kind of somewhere on the medal. But that was my idea.
I love that. And if you're staying at the resort, you kind of get like a show, you know?
Yeah, exactly. You could just come out on your balcony
you can
and
cheer on the runners.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Yeah. What about you, Jenny?
Okay, so for mine, because obviously, you know, I love old school Disney. So I had to go out into the past, and I figured, like, if you're longing to relive your childhood memories, we'd kind of travel back in time, and this would be the Walt Disney World Resort Rewind race weekend, where we would be celebrating all of our favorite old attractions, parades, and shows from the past.
Ooh.
So first up, our very first race, we have the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea 5K. And this one would go through Magic Kingdom. Don't look it up on a map because it makes no sense, but I tried to make this thing work. It does not,
matter.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't exist, but I'm going to say it does. Then we would have the Great Movie Ride 10K.
Yes.
That one would begin on the road outside.
I'm registered.
Perfect. On the road right outside Hollywood Studios, running down Sunset Boulevard, around the hub of the Chinese Theater, and then out the park through Epcot, or to Epcot. Then we have the Horizons Half Marathon. And the starting line would be on the road outside Epcot, running through Magic Kingdom, then back through Epcot, where it ends like right at the entrance, like basically what y'all's race was supposed to be. But don't worry if you don't see a race from your favorite attraction. There'd be tributes from a lot of other favorites around the park, like Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, Splash Mountain, Lights Motor Action. And then guests could see some of their greatly missed rare or retired characters along the course. And so for the half, in order to fully enjoy everything it has to offer, this is going to be a nighttime race. So guests could be cheered on by their old friends performing bits of their favorite parades, such as the Main Street Electrical Parade. and Spectro Magic, but minus
Spectro!
the floats.
Not the floats.
Oh.
Rest in peace.
Wow.
And then for you, Stephen, a nighttime version of Dream Along with Mickey at Cinderella
Yes.
Castle.
I would stop right there and watch.
Right? There you go. And then we would enjoy the sights and sounds of Illuminations, Reflections of Earth, as we run through World Showcase. And so for runners looking to participate in all 3 races for a total of 22.4 miles, they can sign up for the e-ticket challenge. And the medal would be a little old ticket book like you would get back in the day. So
Wow.
that is my rewind race weekend.
So
wanna
it's
go
3
after
races,
her.
5K,
That's
10K, and half, right?
Yes.
Okay. This is just off the top of my head. What if you added in the marathon and you did Mr. Toad's Wild Run? And it was
I love it. I love
that
it.
was the marathon. So you could do a challenge
I
with
feel
all
like that
4.
is like the most classic.
Right.
I love it.
Oh, that's so good. We love a vintage
I know.
attraction.
We love a throwback
experience.
Yeah.
I
here.
want to run that. Even though I'm retired, I'd run that.
What about you, Katie?
So I also wanted a nighttime type of race. So I thought of just doing a fun run, how they have like that Tower of Terror, like 10 miler or something like that. But I thought this could be like a 5K. It's a very random topic, but I wanted to do something night themed. And I thought what would be a really cool theme for that. And then I was thinking Avatar, like their whole draw is everything that happens at night. So I was thinking you could do like a Avatar 5K type of fun run, and it would start in the Animal Kingdom parking lot, and it would start at sundown. And so that way, by the time you make it through to where the Avatar land is, it would actually be dark. So you get to run through as sunset. So you'd start through the parking lot of Animal Kingdom, you run back through Savannah Circle Road, which actually runs right behind Dinosaur. So you can jump in through Dinosaur. I don't actually know if this makes sense. I'm trying to remember like old courses that I've run in Animal Kingdom, but I'm going to pretend this makes sense for today. So you go in through Dinosaur and run around. You follow the walking path. It basically will take you all the way around the whole backside of the park. So you go through Asia, you go through Africa, loop back in, and as you're getting into Avatar land, and it is now officially dark, and everything is lit up. And I was thinking you could have the bibs could be light up. It would be very like day glow theme. So like everyone would wear like fun makeup that glows in the dark and things like that. I just thought that would be like fun to make it like a party. So after you go through Avatar, you come back out through past the Tree of Life and back out into the Animal Kingdom parking lot, and that's where you'll get your medals and everything like that. And about an hour after the race ends, there'll be a lot of food trucks and different party and things like that. You can meet characters, but there'll actually be a party that will happen back in Avatar, and it's a 3-hour event. You get to ride anything that's in Avatar. All of the restaurants, everything would be open through that side. The rides in the rest of the park could be open as well. Haven't fully thought this idea through, but it would be part of your race entrance fee, you and a +1. And then if you had family members, they could buy that in separate, but it's basically a 3-hour party event, and there'd be food, drinks, and everybody gets to dress up in day glow and have fun. And it's like a glow in the dark party and be cool. And you ran a race. So it allows enough time to clear the course and then have a party afterwards.
I am on my way to Party City to buy all of their glow-in-the-dark makeup right now.
And I thought, how fun would the characters be in like glow-in-the-dark stuff? I don't know how that could work, but like how cute would that be? Mickey and Minnie?
That'd be cute.
I know. So that was
And I love that it's not just a race. It's a race and a party.
Yeah, you get a party too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love that.
Thanks. Well, what about you, Marissa?
Y'all have put a lot of thought into these courses, and I think I am still just trying to wrap my mind around running down a highway and not going through anywhere in particular. So I was not quite that detailed. So my idea is called Season's Stride, a Run Disney journey through the elements. So it's going to be a weekend with 4 different races. However, the distances are going to be a little different. I felt like we should maybe mix it up. I'm getting a little sick of just the 5K, 10K half full. So we'll start off with the Spring into Running 4-miler race. The Feel the Heat 6-miler. The Freeze Your Feet 8-miler. And Fall into Autumn 10-miler. So each race is themed after a different one of the seasons. So I was thinking that different characters, different attractions, different movies will all be featured as part of each race based on the season. So obviously for the Freeze Your Feet 8-miler, we'll see characters such as Elsa, Olaf, Frozone. I was going to say Frozen. Frozone, the Abominable Snowman from Monsters, Inc.
This sounds like Club Cool Down's parade float. Episode 5.
I did think of Club Cool Down on episode 5 while planning this race. But also bringing in. What'd you say?
Yeah, check out our rewind from last week.
If you haven't listened, go listen.
But also bringing in attractions such as Expedition Everest. I don't know what else would be featured for winter, but so I just thought that'd be something different and exciting.
The Matterhorn.
The Matterhorn. There we go.
That's all I got.
I love that. Yeah.
I like these distances.
Yeah, and that's
what I was going to say.
Yeah, I wanted the courses to be a little different, but I did not sit down and look at a map. And if I try to plan something without looking, it will just make no sense. But I personally I've done a lot of the 5Ks. I've done a lot of the 10Ks at Disney World, and the courses are almost always the same. They'll sometimes mix it up a little bit, and that's always my favorite part. So I want to just completely scrap the courses they have now and get wild. Maybe the 4-miler is going to run through the castle instead of the 10-miler. Who knows?
Whoa. I'm on board. Sign me up.
I'll see you there.
Ooh, the Freeze Your Feet one, that should go through Blizzard Beach. Have they ever done a park through the water parks?
The marathon I've run through Blizzard Beach a few times. It used to just go through the parking lot, but the first year I did it, we went into the park.
Oh my gosh.
But I think they cut the park the next 2 years.
It's just parking lot now is what I've heard from friends who did the marathon.
Yeah, I remember last 2022, it was just parking lot.
So we'll put a poll up on Instagram so all of you listening can tell us which themed race you like the most.
Pick mine.
Pick Avatar. Avatar.
Well, we hope you enjoyed our rewind last week of Club Cool Down. Next week, it's my turn to take us back in time to my favorite episode.
We are still in major planning mode for season 2 and have so many good ideas coming your way this March. Thanks for sticking with us in between seasons.
And as we always say, if you can dream it,
you can make a podcast about it. Bye.
Bye.